film like NH10, everything is on your shoulders, right? So,
It's
are you
challenging.
prepared for that?
I loved Anushka in the film, and I mean, it's not even like I can ape her, but I just hope if I'm on board, I can do as good a job.
Do you think Kodi is one such film which has demanded a lot from you?
It's a very happy exhaustion when you go back home. You're sleeping happy, saying that, wow, today I'm like exhausted and I just want to hit the bed. I had a good day at work.
Do you believe in fate or you believe in destiny?
I want to be a star. That's all I thought. I want to be a film star. But I do believe in a supreme power. I believe in God, and I do believe that I'm fortunate because I've seen more highs than lows in the industry. The lows are okay. There is going to always be competition. There are going to be lows. You can't have a 15-year lifespan with no lows. It doesn't even happen that way for anybody. So I always had a passion for movies. So I was like, what can I do in movies? Can it be direction? Can it be cinematography? I love traveling. I like doing it with friends. With friends, I choose something that's probably more fun. I want to do a safari. I've done a safari in Ranthambore, but it was still the very sitting in the jeep and clicking pictures. So I want to do a raw safari. I know today why each of them, actually someday I want to write a book about it, why each of them are superstars.
I don't believe in dating. Has that statement changed? I don't want to ask the inevitable question.
No, I don't believe in the stereotype dating. Today, at this minute, at this point,
Left. I'm living for the weekends. Left.
Hi Trisha, such a pleasure to be talking to you, and it feels like a fangirl moment for me. It's like been actually seeing you for almost 6 years now, like since I was in South Scope, and then finally I get to like sit opposite you and like have a conversation. Yes, so
I'm glad, and thank you so much for coming all the way.
pleasure is mine.
Thank you.
So it feels like an exciting phase for you, isn't it? You have Moini, then Saturangavette.
Yeah, there's a lot of everything happening at one time, so I'm quite excited about that.
Right, and then there's a Vijay Setupathi's film also, which was announced recently. So.
Yeah, the thing is with, there are two films which were in the pipeline. One was NH10 and one was Vijay Setupathi's, which I didn't want to announce because I haven't signed it. We're still in terms of, discussing the script and stuff. But hopefully all should go well by Jan 2017.
Right, so NH10 is happening. Is that what you're saying?
It's happening in the sense they've approached me for the project, and of course, I mean, everybody knows the script. It's very challenging for a heroine.
Yeah.
So if all goes well, I will definitely be on board.
Right. So for a film like NH10, everything is on your shoulders, right? So
it's challenging.
Are you prepared for that?
I am, because I watched the Hindi version when it was released. It's very, very, and at that time itself in my head I was like, if someone remakes it, will it be good, in Tamil? Because it's something, even now the director who's on board is trying to fit it according to Tamil Nadu, the rural thing, because we can't obviously ape the same thing. Right. But for a heroine, I loved Anushka in the film, and it's not even like I can ape her, but I just hope if I'm on board, I can do as good a job.
Right. So do you think it's an exciting phase for women in cinema,
Yes, suddenly
films like...
it is, yes. Yeah. I think over the last few years, when a few heroine-oriented films started doing so well, directors have a lot more confidence to write for women now. So even in a hero's film, like the ones I'm doing, say even with a Dhanush or any hero, the characters are very strong, because I think people... Today, the generation, it's all about a script. Of course, being a star and the package matters, but if the script content is not there, no film seems to work today.
Right. So, in an interview recently, you said that this is the exciting phase for you in your career, and you said you like yourself as an actor now.
Yes.
Were you referring to the 14 years acting stint in cinema while you
Definitely.
actually made that statement?
Yes, because initially, of course, I loved the first few years of me coming in and, all the great films I've done. But it was always, I felt I was stuck in a stereotype at that point. Like initially, it was all about making it, establishing a name, and then doing good blockbusters. And after it was like, now I want to do films where my acting is also, given importance. Then I kind of broke that and did films like an Abhiyam Nanum and a VTV and stuff. And now I just feel nothing will go against my choices. So even if I want to break the jinx and do something, it's a time when people have seen me do so much, they're willing to accept me in those roles. As a newcomer, it would have been harder. Like, especially a film like Kodi, I don't know if I could have carried it off 5 or 6 years back. But today I'm very confident that it's something that in terms of my character will work.
Right. So how and when did your approach towards your work change? I mean,
To be very honest, it was because of the kind of films that were offered to me.
Right.
Like when I got an Abhiyam Nanum, it was again very sweet. It was not really breaking a stereotype, but it was different. It was a heroine oriented. It was a story between a father and a daughter. And I think thankfully it was the films that came to me that gradually helped me make that change.
Right.
And I also tried and chose films that would work for me differently at that point.
Right. So Trisha, you're one of those actresses in contemporary Telugu and Tamil cinema who have defied all odds to be where you're today.
Yeah.
So looking back, is there a sense of accomplishment?
Today there's lots more to do and lots more to achieve. I always think I'm like, what is this, a bottomless pit of need. I'm never really happy, but I'm very content.
Right. So is there something that you could have done differently? Is there that feeling?
No, absolutely no regrets. Even my films which have probably not fared very well at the box office, I have no regrets.
Right.
Given a choice, I would do it all over again. Because I chose it for very different reasons. I never choose my films thinking, is it going to be a hit? Is it going to be a blockbuster? And I never stereotype myself. It's not like now I will do only heroine-oriented films. Or I would love to be part of mass films. Even if it means having 10 scenes and maybe 2 songs, if it works for me, I would love to do films like that. So I think that has worked to my advantage because I'm not typecast at all.
Right. So, but when you actually work on a project, you never know the result, right? So
You never know the result.
Yeah.
A film which I thought could do great has totally failed me and vice versa. So if you're happy with the whole process of doing a film, I think you should just put a full stop and leave it. The rest of it depends on the audience.
right. So yeah, just fate, right?
It's fate, because even sometimes when you put in everything, you just don't know, something doesn't work and something which you thought would never work clicks.
Right.
That's how the industry works. It is a battle of, it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
And we're used to that now. I think after about 50 odd films, if I'm not used to it now, then I'll never be used to it. So
Great. So Trisha, how come you've signed like so many projects of late? Like suddenly, like there like so much news about you.
I don't know. See,
So,
I think
is it because those roles excited you, or
yes, totally. It's not planned. It's by default. If I'm not signing projects for 6 months, it's purely because nothing has excited me. And one thing I've stuck to is right from day one, I'll never do something for the sake of doing it. It's not like, oh, I've not had a release in 6 months, let's just have a release. I don't want to do that because that would mean I'm doing it for different reasons.
Right.
And if I'm signing something today, I still feel it's very well spaced out. I only work on 2 films at a time now because I've started enjoying a lot of my space, a lot of my free time. It's not like before where I was working 30 days of the month,
Right.
So I work about say 20 to 25 days of the month, and then I like hanging around for my releases. I like being part of them. So yeah, I think at this point, honestly, I'm getting such good scripts. I'm very excited with the scripts I'm getting.
right? So Trisha, let's talk about your film Kodi. This is the first time you're actually pairing up with Dhanush,
That's right.
who has this thing. About, no, he's known as a very intense actor.
Absolutely,
And,
yeah.
so
yeah.
does your approach to your work change when you're working with someone like Dhanush who brings his A game to the table every time?
Definitely it does. I really feel the team is very important, and I have always said this many times before, I'm a complete director's actor.
Right.
So for me, if the director kind of gets there, even I tend to get there, I kind of imitate my director. I like working like that. And where Dhanush is concerned, of course, we have done a touch and go many times before. We were supposed to work together and it didn't happen. But I'm so glad this was a film, after these many years of being in the industry, that I got to do with him.
Right.
And he's amazing. He's a selfless actor. So what I like about him is I couldn't have pulled off Rudra and Kodi without his help. He was he helped me motivate myself to perform the character in a different way. And we worked very well as a team. Dhanush, Durai sir, me, we used to really work very hard on every scene. It was very, very challenging for me.
Right. So were you on your toes all the time?
I was, because he's someone who can steal the scene like this.
Right.
But he doesn't intimidate an actor. He never does that. He has the persona where you think, oh my God, he's larger than life, he can intimidate you. But he's so generous, because for him, everybody has to give 100%.
Right.
So he told me this. He was like, when I said thank you so much for helping me, he was like, if you're not good, I'm also going to take a bad name.
Yeah.
Everyone has to be good, whether it's the villain, whether it's a character actor, whether it's a child in the frame, everyone has to give 100%.
Right.
So when you work with someone like that, like a Kamal sir again, he has the larger than life aura, but for him, when you work with him, it's like just working with anybody else, because he makes sure it's all about you.
Right. Right. So the film is set in a rural backdrop,
Completely.
Pollachi, right?
Yes,
So
yeah.
how was it playing the village girl?
I haven't done it in a while. In fact, when the teaser came out, a lot of people texted me and told me it reminds me of your Sami days.
Right.
And that was a very different role. It's a complete contrast. So what happened with Kodi was, between Jan and March, we pretty much shot the entire film at one stretch. There were no breaks. So I had a break because I had to finish another film of mine, but it was Jan to March, a complete stretch. So also what we did starting from October, we had a couple of look tests, because by the time we went there, the director wanted us to be very clear. This is how you look. This is how the politician looks. This is how the love scenes look. Everything.
Right.
So there was a lot of homework done on the film. So when I went in Jan, I was already a little accustomed to the entire unit and the film.
Right.
And being there, I honestly love shooting away from home, because for me, I feel there's a lot of peace. You're stuck there. You get into the character.
Right.
And since this much of homework was done, it was a little simpler for me to get into the role.
Right. So this is the first time you play a negative shade in the film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we've always seen the good girl and the bubbly
Absolutely.
girl, but this must have been challenging. And you
Very.
even said during your Twitter chat recently
Yeah.
that it was one of the most challenging roles. What was
Absolutely.
challenging about it?
Challenging because, to be honest, when Durai first narrated the script to me, I said, are you sure you want me in this film? I mean, I understand me and Dhanush have not paired up before. He was like, I thought of you and wrote this. I said, but I don't suit this role at all. It's not me. He was like, that's my problem. That's my challenge, And what is challenging about this negative role is, it's not an exaggerated, she's not a villain. She's not a villain of the film or anything. She's got negative shades. And being a political drama, it's very raw. It's a very raw film. So it's not about doing hand actions and making a point that you're negative. At the same time, you can't underplay it. She's just very ambitious, and there is a thin line between crossing the line and doing whatever you want to get what you want.
Right. So what
that's,
kind of negative shade would that like?
She's someone who will do anything to get what she wants.
Okay.
It even means, say, sidelining people who you love, sidelining your family. I just want to be there. I want to be number one. We all have ambition, but we draw a line. Rudra is a character who doesn't draw a line with it. So anything that comes in her way is just, she'll make sure it's dead and gone.
Right.
That kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So it was challenging because it's something I've really never done, and to be very honest, I couldn't relate to, because I obviously as a person don't relate to this much of negativity.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting into the skin of it took a few days, and it was also nice because we started shooting the love track and then went into the whole hero-heroine battle.
Right. Correct. So Trisha, you've acted in more than 50 films in multiple languages, and out of nowhere you have this film like Vinetandi Varuvaya, or even Yene Arindal or Tungavanam for that matter, which puts you onto a different level. Do you think Kodi is one such film which has demanded a lot from you?
I had fun. It was not stressful or exhausting. It was not that kind of work. It was a lot of rehearsing before a scene to get it right. And also we used to have a lot of, not difference of opinion, but sometimes I used to feel this was like this. Dhanush used to feel maybe you should do this. And then Durai sir used to say, no, I want it like this. So by the time we reached an understanding, it was a lot of fun. I like doing films like this because it's a very happy exhaustion when you go back home. You're sleeping happy, saying that, wow, today I'm like exhausted and I just want to hit the bed. I've had a good day at work. So it was one of those kind of films, but it was not, I wouldn't say it was hard. It was a lot of pleasure doing it.
Right. So how would you approach an intense role like this? Intense character in Kodi like this?
It was,
What did you have to do some homework?
we did homework. To begin with, we kind of had to get a look because my director was very particular. Rudra, my character's name, is not someone who wants to look good. There's no playing dress up in this film. It's very rural. It's how a village belle would dress. So I had the idea of adding a nose ring because most of the village girls I've seen, even in colleges and stuff, they have that. It adds a lot of flavor to your character. So we did that, and then even in terms of, there are just two different kinds of looks in the film. One is before she becomes a politician, one is after. So we tried even the politician's look. He was like, I don't want it to be dressy or it has to be very underplayed. How would a politician dress up? So we had a few references, you know, we Googled a few references. We said, okay, should we put a French plaid? Because that's what a girl would do.
Yeah.
She's not going to do a whole dress up, you know. And very simple, just earrings and a simple chain. And I feel I looked the character. That I'm very sure. So the next challenge was to feel it. And that was again, and also the dialogue delivery. That was a little hard because I don't speak Tamil slang, which they probably speak in a Madurai or a Coimbatore, you know, so we had to adjust to that. So, but we had a lot of rehearsals even before every scene, like if we were shooting, say, a night shoot, if it started at 6, we would sit by, say, 4:30 and, you know, rehearse the scene, me, Tanush, Durai sir. It was good fun.
Right. So Trisha, we were just talking about the kind of choices you're making with films and how you are getting bolder with your choices. So does it somewhere still feel jittery, you know, when you actually take that plunge to get into a film which is going to be challenging to put up to the audience who are used to a certain kind of
Correct.
movie, I mean, watching films.
Yeah, correct. You're right about that. I do have my apprehensions, even a film, and to be honest, as an actor, I do feel a little jittery when I'm trying to break a stereotype. Because there are questions in my head saying, I have built an image with a lot of hard work, so I don't want anything to go wrong at this point of time. And I'm still doing commercial cinema, I'm still doing mass films, I'm still working with all the heroes. So I don't want to do something so drastic which would take me away from that. I still like the work I do, I like the whole being part of commercial cinema, you know, it's what I've always liked. So to be very honest, Vrinda, there are times that I say no to films because I feel it may be too bold as a character or I'm breaking too much of a stereotype. I don't do those films. Like even a Yenne Arindal, it took me a whole month between me and Gautam to sit because I was not very comfortable playing a mother, and I was not very comfortable saying that, oh, you know, she's already married and she's marrying again. I had that, and then after a point when I slept over it, I thought, if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it? So, and that too, but again, I did it because it was a Gautam Menon. And I knew he's a commercial director. He's very, very aesthetic with what he presents. So, I'm trying to break a stereotype, but I'm somewhere in the middle. I wouldn't completely break it also. Because I still like the image I've built. And I like people to think of me a certain way.
So, since we talked about fate a little earlier, do you believe in fate or you believe in destiny?
It's a bit of both. I have my moods. One day I believe just leave it up to fate, it's destiny. Another part of me believes only dead fish go with the flow. So sometimes if I really want something, I do take it in my own hands. But I do believe in a supreme power. I believe in God, and I do believe that what you put out is what you get. So I'm not someone who stresses too much about the future. I let it be. Because everything I've stressed about and when I think back, I'm like, why did I even stress about it? So I just let it be.
Because you started off very early in your career.
Correct.
So were you convinced that you were meant to be in this profession?
Not at all. It was something I just fancied, to be very honest. I never wanted to be an actor. I was still studying, and I come from a family where acting was very taboo. Initially, I'm talking about 17 years back when I started modeling. So it's something I just fancied because I started modeling, and I'm like, I want to be a star. That's all I thought. I want to be a film star.
So that was the cusp of change in life.
That's it. I just wanted. It was glamorous for me. It was like I want to be famous. It was very shallow things that wanted me to drift into this industry, and I didn't even think it would be this much hard work. When I got in, it took me a lot. It took me 2 whole years to get used to it. There have been at least once every week when I wanted to quit. because I'm a very spoiled child. I come from a family where I'm very protected, so I'm like, why am I doing this? It's a lot of suffering here. But when I started enjoying my job, I just knew I couldn't have done anything else. Like today, if you ask me, I don't think I would have lasted in any other profession.
A lot of people would have thought of this, but most of them wouldn't have said this. But you are an inspiration, you know. Every time like people wrote you off, you know, you would surprise them by actually play a different character or sign different films. So how do you deal with this constant pressure of actually giving out the best each time, or does it scare you?
It was a little tough to handle initially, because you know it was. To be very honest, my struggle was not for too long. I had my first film in Telugu was a blockbuster. My first film in Tamil was a blockbuster. So what happened is, for me, I've only seen the good. I started off seeing the great, actually, not even the good. So when there was a dip, a little low, because that happens with every actor, I was like, what's happening? I took it very badly. I'm like, no, I mean, I have to only have blockbusters and hits. So when it took that hit, I realized it's either you have a short span and it's great, or if you're going to have a long span in the industry, there are going to be a lot of lows. So today it doesn't bother me at all.
Like, are there constant questions in your mind?
There's a lot of responsibility, but it honestly, Vrinda, I'm very immune to it. I can say yes, it bothers me, it affects me, but it really doesn't. For me, it's about, I don't care anymore, because the same people who put you up there, the same people who bring you down as well, you know, whoever it is. So it's about doing good work, and it's about you being happy at the end of the day. And I'm fortunate because I've seen more highs than lows in the industry. The lows are okay. There is going to always be competition. There are going to be lows. You can't have a 15-year lifespan with no lows. It's just, it doesn't even happen that way for anybody. I'm talking about someone like a legendary stars have lows, you know. So it's something that, but it definitely challenges me to do better. It motivates me, thinking not like, oh, I have to prove them wrong. It's more like, it's time for me to also reinvent. So maybe it's a reality check, which is actually good, thinking that maybe I should do something better next. I look at it positively.
So you're one of those very few actresses whose personal life is always in the spotlight, you know, and for many years now. So does it come as a surprise that people don't get fed up of knowing about what's happening in
But you know, to be very honest, yes, I'm very active in the sense, say like even on social media. I'm a very honest person. If I want to go out, if I want to have a nightlife, I'm someone who does not hide behind it. I go out with my friends. But when it comes to a personal life, to be very honest, it's probably only 5% what people know. The rest of it, nobody knows. They just think I'm a very out there, you know, out of the over there person. But actually, I'm not. I'm extremely private when it comes to my personal life. What I'm really thinking, or what I'm really doing has never really come out. But a few things that have, I guess, those are, we call them occupational hazards. Being an actor, we don't have a choice.
Right. So as an actress, both on screen and off screen, you know, you're constantly being monitored, right? So is there an end to this scrutiny, or it's an ongoing process?
I don't feel it. I don't feel like I'm constantly monitored. The day I do, then it's a problem. Then I can get very conscious of it or very disturbed by it. I don't feel it. My life.
You never had a day where you felt you're being, you know.
No, no, honestly, no. There have been times when my personal life has been ripped apart in every newspaper. There are headlines. But I think my life is so normal. It's very, very normal. What I am, my work is only 9 to 6. And I know I work very hard, I'm professional. But when I go home, it's insanely normal. Like my mom, my household, my friends, everything is so normal. It's like what any girl would relate to. So that is my 80% of my life. So that overpowers everything that is negative in this part.
There have been times where lot of stuff about you have been breaking news. I'm actually talking about your engagement.
Absolutely.
Right? It's like bomb ticking on on the screen, right? So does it send a sense of fear sometimes, like because they want you to be breaking news, right?
True. I'll tell you what, initially it was very, very hard for me, this industry, because again, the way I've been raised, the family I come from, it's very protected. I was a single child, and you know, I'm not even used to someone lying to me or betraying me. I'm not used to that. For me, those emotions, even today, if I know someone has lied to me or betrayed me, the first reaction is anger. I get so angry, and then, my mom tells me, just relax, this is how the world is, you need to get used to it. This industry has helped me get used to it because I have seen a lot of negativity around me.
wrecks you and then,
It does.
yeah.
It completely pulls you down. So I've seen, my God, this is someone I trusted, and then this happened. I've seen that. So that has really made me so much stronger. And where things like, say, my engagement or something else has made headlines, sometimes it saddens me because I really wish I could talk about it and actually say 100%. People make up stories. And I don't know how much, I don't think it's worth me going on Twitter and saying, this is not true and that is true. But let me just make it clear, nobody really knows what has happened. And where this is concerned, I choose not to talk about it purely out of respect for the other person, because there's another person involved. It's not fair to, drag someone down with you when you're talking about something.
Right.
If it was about me and something I've done, I have no qualms about it.
Right.
So I think it's cliched, but I think people must respect one's privacy in matters like these.
So where do you draw the strength?
My family, because they are people. Even when I walk home having a low day, they get very amused with gossip. My mum or my dad or even my grandmom has always laughed at things like this. So for me, I'm very amused by it. I don't take it seriously at all. And at the same time, this has happened, but I've also had a lot of support from the media. I don't know whether, especially in Chennai, because I'm a Tamil ponnu, is it because of that or what it is, I've had a lot of support. They have never really broken me. Never. Even when something is breaking news, they have always held me up. They've supported me through it. Even I know very close journalist friends of mine who have always never written something that would break me purely because they know they don't want to hurt me.
Right.
So I do have there's a lot of positivity also amidst all of this chaos.
Right. So you're a very strong person.
Very. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But being famous actually comes with that side effects, right?
It does.
Right.
But the thing is, I have not become strong after I got into
here.
the industry. I was very strong always, and that has been my only strength. I have tons of flaws, but my strength has been me being strong, me being able to handle everything is something that I was raised with. And I come from a family that's highly women empowered, and we stand by what we believe in. We're all highly educated, if I do say so myself. So it comes with a lot of strength, immense strength. Like my father was someone who would always say, you do what you want, at the end of the day. Just be safe and do what you want, whatever career you pursue. And that's how I'm raised. So I guess it helped me. And I don't think you can survive here for too long if you're not strong, because people will try to break you down. So my depression or my low spells, of course I have had them. They've lasted for long. I've had very, very severe low spells. But it's something I deal with myself. I think self-help and self-healing is the only way you can get through anything.
Right. But being a celebrity, Trisha, you are expected to be a certain way when you are out there, and you can't be just yourself.
Absolutely.
So is there any moment where you feel that hollow inside you?
Of course. And it's okay if I have a day off, I'm sitting at home and I feel hollow, because I can wallow in bed and I can just be a couch potato. I just, probably binge watch a TV show, eat food. It has hit me when I'm working, when I've been completely broken inside, but I have to go and perform. And perform maybe a very happy scene or perform where I have to put on a solid front. And I don't think that's faking it, but that's my responsibility towards my job. If I have to go there and smile at my staff and smile at my director, even though I'm feeling like a complete mess inside. But what's invariably happened in my case, that has helped me get over the negativity. So my entire day, like if I was low today, this would probably help me get over my negativity. I wasn't low today, but still, it's an example.
Right.
So that has, of course there have been times, I'm a human being, I'm a woman, and I have felt completely broken inside. I've had bad days, bad months. But I do get, the only person who has been able to help me is myself. I've also realized that over a long span of time. I've tried different routes. Of course it helps talking to family, friends, meditating, doing yoga and things like that. But at the end of the day, you need to help yourself.
Right. Trisha, in 2010, I read one interview where you said, "I don't believe in dating." Has that statement changed? I don't want to ask the inevitable question.
No, I don't believe in the stereotype dating. That's a better way to put it. I do believe when you're in a relationship, you do things like, for me, dating is very stereotype. Like, I think of it in a very American way, you know, like where you go out and you're getting to know each other and, oh, are you having dinner? I find that a bit boring. For me, getting to know someone has always been about maybe just casually talking. It has to be very impromptu, very spontaneous. That works better for me.
Yeah.
So you eventually date, I feel, after you know you're
them.
with someone, you know. That has worked better for me, at least in my case.
Right. So can I ask you that inevitable question?
Whether I'm dating? No. Today, at this minute, at this point, I'm not dating anybody. No, I'm actually going through a very peaceful phase of my life. Of course, I've dated people and I've been in relationships, but today, it's more about learning to be with myself. I think there was a time I felt, oh God, I don't know what I'm going crazy alone. But today I'm happy in my own skin. I like being alone.
Right.
Yeah.
I read this another story, Trisha, where you said that you're not a big fan of rain because you were made to dance for almost a month for Varsham with
Yes,
Prabhas.
yes.
And are there more things in the list that you can't stand at all?
Rain is one thing. I'm phobic. I'm phobic with water because it was about 145 days of just not only shooting in the rain. It took a toll on me because we shot in winter, we shot in summer, and Hyderabad at one point we shot in Jan when it was freezing. Yeah. So for me, and it's just not rain, you know. It's about 9 to 6 sitting in wet, just sitting in the wet field, and then having rain on you throughout, which is one of the reasons why I just couldn't get myself to sign the Tamil version of the film. I just couldn't do it. I said, no, I can't deal with another year of this. So today it's okay because I've not done a rain film continuously like that. After that. And dancing is something that still, when they tell me song sequence, madam, I do a fast song, I'm like, oh God, it still gives me a little bit of a thing, how is it going to be? It just scares me a little bit, but then I'm definitely used to it after these many films. Otherwise, I'm okay. Otherwise, I'm fine. Yeah, otherwise everything is in check. As long as I'm told what to do, I have a little bit of rehearsal time, I'm good.
Right. Okay, Trisha, recently you posted Mohini first look poster, right? And this is, that again is, you're playing a dual role in the film. Or triple role?
No,
dual role.
Dual.
Yeah. And
they're not, it's not twins, but.
Okay.
It's not twins, it's in two different, very, not eras, it's in two, like there's a flashback and there's a present. It's like that. So she's not like playing, she doesn't have a twin.
Right. So this is the third back-to-back horror or thriller film, right?
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah,
so are you actually fond of that genre?
I am very fond of the genre, but I do think I did want to take a break from it because there were too many horror films doing the rounds. But Mohini was something I just couldn't say no to because I really liked the script, and even then I thought, is it okay to do a horror film this soon because I've just had one after the other, but it was a script I really, really liked. Something that was so entertaining, it had everything, it had a love story, it had a horror, comedy portion, and but now I'm consciously not going to sign a horror film at least for a few months, at least break it and sign something else and then get back to that genre.
Right. So we hear there's an underwater segment in the film.
Yeah.
Would you want to tell
it's very challenging, very difficult because shooting underwater and holding your breath is one thing. Of course, they take very small shots, but keeping your eyes open. And also the thing is, underwater you don't have a steady posture, you know, so you have to make sure you're favoring the camera and things like that. So this fight we still have 4 more days to go for the fight, and it's something it's also a bit exhausting. So starting from wearing a rubber suit is again it's water, but it's a little different. I like this kind of water is okay.
Right.
Rain is something that I don't know, I'm just so phobic with. This kind of water is different, and I love the water. I love swimming, and I'm a deep sea diver. So for me, it's very challenging to do something like this, but it's also very difficult because you have to invariably go for a few takes because you know the camera sometimes doesn't capture what it needs to. And so it's fun. I've never done an underwater sequence at all in the last 50 films. I never have. So it's the first time I'm doing that.
Do you believe in the supernatural?
I believe in ghosts.
Yeah?
Yes, I believe in spirits.
Did you have
I've not, but I do believe in them because I've read up.
Is it because you heard or?
I went through this phase in college for 2 years where I was so intrigued with the supernatural that I have even tried the Ouija board. I've tried connecting to spirits. I've done all this. And you know how kids do all these things, you know, crazy things. It's something that I completely backed off from after a point because I feel it's bringing on negative energy. I don't know why. I've read up a lot. I just feel they do exist. We're not the only people out here. We do. There are spirits. I do believe in people who feel their lives are not complete. They stay back as spirits.
Did you start believing it after you started getting into this genre of films? Or
No,
was
I've
it
always
even
had. And my
before?
mom has told me a story where she had a very strange experience with the Ouija board where it actually moved and they could feel things. And you know, after that, my grandmom was like, absolutely no Ouija boards in this house or anything like that. So I've felt things, but I've never, thank God, I've never really seen them. I would freak out if I did. But, and I love horror films. Things like, okay, say like I watch them alone. It gives me a kick. I watch them alone. And things like even The Conjuring and stuff, they're all based on true events. So what's there not to believe? You know?
Trisha, of late, most of the actresses have started getting into wide range of businesses apart from acting.
Yes.
Do you have any such plans? Do you have some dreams that you want to pursue?
I do, but you know,
I had read somewhere that you wanted to start off a 5-star hotel.
no, not a hotel. That's way too much of. That's being too ambitious. I see. I like, for me, I have to have a passion before I do anything. So I always had a passion for movies. So I was like, what can I do in movies? Can it be direction? Can it be cinematography? Then I thought, okay, I also like the glam world, so let me be an actor. So I'm a complete foodie. Being a Taurian, I love food. I live to eat. For me, cuisine intrigues me. Traveling to eat intrigues me. So I thought the food business is something I should always venture out into. So probably start like a restaurant, like a like a resto bar or a restaurant or something like a lounge, something like that, which I feel will do so well in Chennai as well. So, but it is something I want to study. I'm a bit calculated when it comes to business that way. I want to know the business before starting it. And this has been on my mind for the last 2-3 years. I want to do a quick course for 3 to 6 months. But unfortunately, I don't get that kind of a break. 3 to 6 months is a very long break. But it's something I am looking at starting probably mid 2017. No, say a course in culinary arts. Yeah, or maybe like hotel management, which would help me in this field. Just do something that I'm passionate about. Like, you know, something like a restaurant, a quirky idea, something like that. It's been on my mind for 5 years. So
it's not on paper yet.
It's not on paper, but I'm planning to kickstart it by mid 2017. Something I want to sit with my auditor, with my legal team, and do it properly. You know, not just start it for the sake of starting.
You are someone who loves traveling as well.
Yeah.
Is there anything on the list?
I love traveling. I just recently, a few months back, went to this retreat called Kamalaya. And I went alone. I went for my birthday, and everyone was like, why are you doing this for your birthday? It's crazy. Birthdays are supposed to be with friends. You're supposed to party. And it was, I don't know, I just had an inner calling. I like anything that's holistic. That really works for me, and that's something not too many people even believe when they see me. They're like, but you're such a fun person, you're like all over the place. So I just went alone for like a week. It was in Koh Samui, and it was so beautiful. It was all about just, you know, a wellness spa. It was all about meditation and yoga camps and like detox programs and stuff like that. So that was my last travel. And then I love traveling. I like doing it with friends. With friends, I choose something that's probably more fun, you know, like a city-based thing, like a London or something like that. And when I do an alone place, I make sure it's something I can handle alone. Like where I wake up and I have a routine. I don't get bored or lonely.
So was this the first birthday alone that you spent?
Actually, even that they didn't allow me. So I was, my birthday is on the 4th. So I was technically here on the 3rd. I celebrated with friends and then I left 4th morning. So it was really nice. It was an eye-opener. It helped me. At that point of time, I just needed to spend some time alone. You know, I was probably going through maybe a personal low. So I just wanted time off from everybody, and I just wanted to just be by myself. And I was fine. In 1 week, I just healed. I was absolutely fine when I came back.
Right. So was that because of all that has happened over the year? over
It
that
could
movie?
be. I couldn't really explain it. You know, when you hit a low, you don't actually know the reason. That's the
Right.
strangest part. And even today, when I see videos on depression, you know, say like when a Deepika talks or when a Ritik talks, it's something that I can really relate to. I think every person, I'm sure you can relate to, a friend can relate to. When you wake up, someone's just feeling low for no reason. You're having a great day. I've never had a professional low. Touch wood, I've never had a professional low. It's always, work has always kept me going. Sometimes you just wake up like, I don't know what I want. I don't really feel like catching up with people. I don't feel like even work is not making me so happy. So those are the times. I wouldn't call it depression. I just think you need to get out,
Right.
figure things out by yourself, rejuvenate, reinvent, and come back.
Right.
So I've started doing that now. It really helps me.
Right. Do you have such days like when you don't want to meet people?
Oh,
Does that
yeah.
also happen because you are always amidst so many people on sets or even otherwise?
I think it could be that. Also, see, the thing is, I suffer very strongly from a single child syndrome. I'm very used to being by myself, you know. I have always slept alone. I've been tuned to that. Like, even sharing a room with someone would, like, after a point, I'm like, oh God, I just want my space.
Yeah.
So, people don't even understand me when I say I work 9 to 6 and after that, I want to be holed up in my room. Even if it's abroad, they're like, why? Why don't you go out? You're in such a beautiful... But I like my space.
Right.
So I take it and I'm very blessed. I have great friends and I have friends who understand and they are just like me. So it works very well. We love each other and then we take our space. So it works really well.
So 5 places that's on your bucket list.
Where I haven't been?
Yeah.
Oh, so many. I feel like I've traveled so much, but there's so much in the world I haven't seen. You know, I want to do South America. I definitely want to do the Amazon, that belt, but it needs some time to go all the way and do it. I want to do a safari, a proper, and I mean a very raw safari. I've done a safari in Ranthambore,
Okay.
but it was still the very sitting in the jeep
Yeah,
and clicking
yeah,
pictures. So I want to do a raw safari, like the ones you see on National Geographic and stuff like that.
Right.
And what else? What else? So many places. I haven't been to Russia.
Okay.
I want to do Russia, I want to do Mykonos, and I want to do many, many parts of America which I haven't done, South Africa, which I haven't done. I've always touched and done a few, but you know, you can never get the satisfaction of finishing everything in that country.
But that's the advantage most actors have, right?
Yes,
You get to travel.
absolutely. We get to travel, and what I normally do is when I have time, I stay back and I holiday and come. But also with actors, what happens is we go to very similar places all the time
Yeah.
because they need to be user friendly,
Yeah.
shooting friendly, and stuff like that. But I've done a lot of, I've traveled, especially when I've done films with Venki. I've traveled to a lot of unique places,
Yeah.
like we did Iceland and even something else we did.
I think he was the first guy who actually found out Switzerland, right? Like
Did
shooting
he?
in
Yeah, he
I read
always
this.
chooses something
Yeah.
different. And he told me that he's like, Trisha, you like
He
working
has an
with
eye
me.
for places,
Yes.
yes.
And I said, I love working with you. He's like, no, because you get to see so many different things that you haven't seen before, you know. I'm like, that's so true. He really has an eye for places.
Right.
And I've seen some beautiful places all through my work. I'm so blessed. That's like, it's just amazing.
Right. You're also blessed that you've worked with most of the top stars. Almost
Yeah,
everybody.
So almost all of them, yeah.
What has the lessons been like?
It's been
working
so
with-
nice, and working with people, you know, working with them has taught me humility. Whether it's Chiranjeevi sir, whether it's Venki, whether it's Nag, or even from the south, whether it's a Vijay, Ajit, Vikram, anyone, name it, Kamal sir. It's amazing. I know today why each of them, I can actually someday I want to write a book about it. Why each of them are superstars, because they are so different from the other, but their qualities are so special that nobody else has it. Like what you see in one star, the other star doesn't have, and that's what makes them so special.
Yeah.
And I've done with some of them at least 2 to 4 films with, you know, some of them
Yes.
it's
You've
amazing.
done, like,
Everything is a learning
2 rounds
process.
almost with everybody.
With everybody, they humble me. People like these humble me.
Like, what is the major difference that you actually see with seeing
The
them?
way they handle things is like, with one person you'll see an amazing amount of humility, and the other person you'll see so much of generosity. And the way they are with their work, I always feel to be a superstar, you have to stand out. It's not easy to get it because there are so many people who are out there, you know. So the way they're so dedicated, so hardworking, those things are very synonymous with all of them. They're all so hardworking and so progressive in the way they think, 100% with their work. And many of them were already so well established when I worked with them. I was nobody, I was a newcomer, and they never made me feel it even for a second.
Right.
So they're amazing. I have great regard for all my co-stars, all of them.
Right. So why don't we see you in Telugu much these days? Is it because you're being very choosy, or filmmakers are not approaching with you with the kind of scripts
It
that
could
you
be
want?
both. It could be both. Yes, I am being choosy because I don't see the point in doing something which I've done before. And to be honest, Vrinda, I'm not getting a script that is just drawing me over there. I'm not getting something that's very exciting. So what is the point? I know everybody, probably people are thinking, oh, you've taken a break, or are you just completely in Tamil now, or you're not getting the kind of work you want to. It could be everything. I have no qualms in saying it, but unless I get something interesting, I don't see the point in doing something over there right now.
Right.
I would say the same for Tamil, but it's just fortunately I'm hearing very nice scripts over here, so I'm signing them on.
There's a wild side to Trisha, and I'm sure all your friends would vouch for it. What's the craziest or the wildest thing that
Define
you've
wild. What is wild?
As in, you're someone who loves life, and
Yeah, I'm crazy.
you just can go crazy.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I'm
So what is the craziest
absolutely-
thing that you've done?
Oh God, I've done crazy things like just going like sea swimming in the middle of the night because it's something that I've wanted to do.
Are you
I know it's
serious?
dangerous. I would never recommend it. I know it's terribly, terribly dangerous. Please don't do it at all. But I don't know. I'm very impulsive. That has worked to my advantage and also to my disadvantage. I'm impulsive with everything, whether it's professional, whether it's signing a film. I'm very impulsive. It just works. It works for me. I sign it on. And even personally, I'm very impulsive, which is probably why I've done crazy things like so many crazy things, like even getting engaged. It was an impulsive move. And even with my friends, I don't feel crazy because I just feel I'm with a bunch of people, and I keep talking about my friends because they've been with me for it's almost 25 years. Honestly, I've grown up with them. So they're as crazy as me. We're very, very impulsive. And most people don't get my crazy side. It takes, which is probably why most of my friends have been with me for 20, 25 years. It takes a lot to get me, but I assure you, once you get me, it's fine. The journey is good.
So, are you very instinctive? Like, you just decide the moment, okay, yeah, I think this is right, and I just want to do it. So
Yes,
is that
I
how
am.
most of your stuff has
Everything. I'm very impulsive.
impulsive? As
Yeah,
well?
I don't know if I'm instinctive. My intuitions have gone wrong many, many times. My error in judgment, and even with people, they have gone wrong many times.
Yeah.
But there are no regrets. I just feel everything's a learning experience. Yeah, I don't think too much. I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Right.
If I like something, I'm there.
Talk about your engagement and whatever has happened.
Yeah.
Like, is there a fear, like you don't want to get into it anymore, or you like
No.
open to it?
Not
You
at all.
don't
There's
want-
no fear.
Okay.
I'm so ready
Yeah.
to love.
Right.
Yeah, I'm so ready to love. Marriage, see, I don't know if I believe in it. I feel the institution today is very, very hypocritical. Because people I've seen around me are in marriages for a lot of wrong reasons. They stay in it however unhappy they are because of, say, children, or because the elders want them to. I wouldn't say they're wrong, but it's not how I do life. It's never how I've done it. I'm very open to love. I believe in love. So of course I'm open to it all my life. There's no time for it. It's not like I feel jaded about it. Marriage is something, I don't know, it's like when you look at a person, is this the person you want to wake up to for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
When my mind tells me yes, then I will venture into it. Otherwise, no. Because I don't want to end up divorced. I don't want to end up hurting someone else or living an unhappy life.
Right.
So I will think about it 100 times before I do it.
Yeah. You're a IO girl, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so most of the IO girls actually
Think
that,
a lot. They
yeah,
call us very calculated.
I'm like that.
We think a lot. Yes, I think that's a good thing. We
Yeah.
think a lot with everything, whether it's personally, whether it's money matters,
Yeah.
whether it's starting something new. Yes, we think a lot.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, too much, which is a good thing,
Yeah.
no? Which is probably why we pretty much wake up happy 95% of the time.
I guess, yes.
Yeah.
So, Trisha, finally, what would Trisha do if one fine day she wakes up and realizes all this was a dream, or do you still feel that you're still living a dream?
Yeah, sometimes my life is, touch wood, it's like fantasy sometimes, and that normally happens with my work. It happens whenever I go to a theatre on the first day. I forget sometimes who I am. You know, when I go out and I see the love I get from people, every time I travel to, say, a place like interior Andhra or interior Tamil Nadu or even Hyderabad, which I visited a few days back, I'm like, wow, the love is, it's so hard to get there. It's, I feel, just 5% of people who get this, you know. So I am living a dream. I am. I don't want to wake up actually. I'm just living
You just
a dream.
want to be in that bubble.
But it's also reality.
Right.
It's a bubble that's also real, and but I'm very grounded. I know nothing can last forever. So as long as you gain respect and love along the way, that is something that can last forever. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Right. So Trisha, I hope all of that lasts forever.
I hope so.
And
I hope
thank you
so.
so much. I always thought you were unapproachable, and I was really scared always.
really?
And but I had like the best conversation. And
Absolutely.
I hope you did too.
I did. I like this. I've seen a few of your interviews before, and they're very real. They're very honest.
Thank you.
So I also like talking to people like you because you can just talk, say what you feel like, you know.
Thanks a lot for your time, and
Absolutely.
looking forward to your films and looking forward to seeing you in the future as well.
Thank you, Vrinda. Thank you so much.
Hi friends, this is Manara Chopra and you're watching iDream Media.